As today's special bonus episode of Playing Above the Line is being recorded and released in real time, the world is facing some unprecedented challenges as it relates to the spread of COVID-19, which is also known as coronavirus. Welcome to Playing Above the Line, where we interview entrepreneurs, business owners, and community activists to get their thoughts and perspectives on leadership. Playing Above the Line is sponsored by Aviso Group, a business consulting and accounting firm focused on preparing clients for the future through innovation and positive growth. Welcome to another special COVID-19 edition of Playing Above the Line. I'm Alan, your host, and as we've done the last 2 or 3 episodes, we're focusing on the crisis that's been caused by this COVID-19 pandemic that we're going through, and we've hit the pause button on our normal format, which is typically we get together with business leaders and owners and entrepreneurs to talk about leadership, and we're still going to do that at some point, but right now we thought it was important to maybe talk to some folks who are directly impacted or have been directly impacted by the crisis that we're going through. And so our guest today is Kevin Pennington, and he and his wife are the owners of Fish River Grill. And Kevin, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome, Alan. Thanks for having me.
Well, so like I said, I mean, we are in the middle of something that the likes of which I've never really seen before, and I'm sure that you're that way as well. Just some challenges that we're going through right now because of this COVID-19 issue and that kind of thing. So let's talk specifically about your situation. So you guys own Fish River Grill, correct? Yes. And you've got more than one location. How many locations do you have?
We have 4.
4 locations. So take us through just kind of what the last several weeks have looked like. I mean, you go from going wide open and running your business to what's your situation now? Are you guys totally shut down, or what are you doing?
We have one location still open, the original location, which was more set up by its location to do takeout business, and it did a large takeout. The other restaurants really are more dine-in with a large capacity, so you don't really have a ton of takeout. So we shut those down, I would say 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. It just wasn't doing enough to keep everybody alive. So the focus now is on the original grill, which is still operating, very well, thankfully. So we're able to keep our bills paid and keep things taken care of, so we don't go under like some other locations have. Right. But to kind of give you an idea, we were running into spring break. This from here through the end of the summer is kind of where you make your money as a business here in a tourist location. The rest of the year, you're really taking care of everybody, paying your bills, just staying alive. So you really look for this. Well, all of a sudden, it's like having the carpet pulled out from up under you. Yeah. To kind of give you an idea of what this would look like. If we were on an island and we have one source of income or revenue for everybody on that island, and then a hurricane hits, you're done. Mm-hmm. You're done. We have 85 employees. That's 85 families. And then when we buy all local, so you look at our fishermen's families, our merchants' families, so that number grows exponentially to, I would say, somewhere around 300 families that just Fish River Grill is responsible for really taking care of. Right. That just has the carpet pulled right out from up under them.
Yeah. I mean, I've got to think as a business owner that you feel personally responsible for the, like you say, the livelihoods of not only your employees' families, but also and the ripple effect that you mentioned. I mean, the suppliers and that kind of thing. So, can you tell us a little bit about the decision-making process as far as when you decided? Well, of course, I guess the governor had something to do with it, because when she shut down all basically, I guess, in dining restaurant business and that kind of thing, and went strictly to takeout or curbside delivery or whatever, that kind of forced your hand to some degree. But can you talk a little bit about what that process was like, coming to the decision to shut the 3 restaurants down completely, and then what that conversation was like with your employees? I've got to think that was a hard thing it was a hard message to deliver to them.
Very hard. It's a very hard conversation to have when you know that the Fed is actually they're saying they're going to take care of everybody, but that doesn't help get it. You don't know when that money's going to come down the pipeline. Right. When we started looking at our numbers dropped 75% to what they normally were. We decided, once we saw how much money would actually be allotted through unemployment, stimulus checks, it was better to actually close the doors than to stay open and burn up all of our capital trying to stay alive.
Yeah.
We did look at some of the SBA loans, but they were going to forgive loans or money if you kept everybody working. But in the restaurant industry, what do?
Right.
If you're not open, it affected our servers first. So what do your servers do? If we in a takeout only business, now our servers have gone down, and then now we're limited on how much is coming in from a takeout standpoint. How long do you operate just paying people to sit around?
Right.
If the Fed forgives that money, well, they were only going to forgive $100,000, and then the rest is going to be paid back as a loan at 4%. You're never getting that money back. Spring break's gone.
Right.
So that money's never going to be made up again. So how do you go about looking at paying money back that you're never going to make bank back?
Right.
Or paying that 4%. So we decided to close the doors. They were going to make more money in unemployment than they would just sitting around doing basically nothing.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good point, because the paycheck, which I think what you're referring to is the Paycheck Protection Program, that program really was not set up to benefit the restaurants at all.
No.
Because like you said, the linchpin of that whole program is the loan forgiveness on the back end. In order to be forgiven, you have to spend those loan proceeds on salaries.
Right.
75% of them at least on salaries. And so in the restaurant industry, when you have a sit-down restaurant, if you're not set up for curbside pickup, if you're not set up for delivery, then, I mean, you don't have any employees, you get that money, it becomes a loan. So now on the back end of it, you're stuck with trying to pay back this loan amount plus recoup the lost revenue if there's, and that kind of thing that you've missed over the last weeks or months or however long you've been closed, right?
Right. And then the Fed was already going to pay more through unemployment, through stimulus checks. The extra $600 a week for a 6 weeks time frame was going to be more than what some would make on an average anyway.
Yeah.
So then if we stayed open, then we would burn up our capital that we need to reopen for the rebound. So we decided, instead of burning that up, let's put everybody on unemployment and see how that works first. We could always reopen and put them back to work if there was a benefit to it.
Right. So the hope is, I guess, that through the state unemployment plus the federal unemployment, that your employees will be taken care of through the shutdown. And then by the time that time period runs out, then hopefully you'll be up and running or getting ready to reopen. Is that right?
And now that's where we're at right now. Since they're talking about letting us reopen on May the 1st.
Okay.
So we're ready for that. It was a very good decision to let the unemployment take place and shut down, and now we've got the capital that we can rebound very quickly. So we're excited that they're going to let us reopen, hopefully on May the 1st. But even if it takes a little longer, we're financially able to reopen and put everybody back to work, and there's nobody going to miss out.
So hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel then, is what you're saying.
Yes, there's always a silver lining.
What do you think that's going to look like as you reopen? Or are we going to be having to adhere to the social distancing rules that we've come to know and love here the last few weeks and months? I mean, is it something that you're going to have to operate at a percentage of your capacity as far as not being at full capacity with the restaurant? What is that looking like?
Well, it looks like it's going to be like when we shut down, where everybody's going to stay. We're going to operate at about 75%. Still, we're waiting to hear back from the Fed on that, but we don't really know. I think in their areas like here where we're not hit as hard as other areas, maybe we'll be able to run back at full capacity. But even at 75%, that's a good business. It's a good deal.
Well, and hopefully, the spring break, the season has kind of come and gone. But if the beaches open back up the 1st of May, folks start traveling a little bit more, and you'll get some of that summer traffic that you typically rely on as far as making that's your bread and butter time, the summertime.
Right.
So hopefully you'll get some tourist traffic and that kind of thing coming too.
Well, I believe with the extra money that the Fed put out, that's going to help with people, and especially right now with people cooped up in their homes, they're looking to really get out. So with the extra money that was put in the pipeline, we're hoping that people are going to use that and really get out and vacation. I'm sure everybody, even though they've not been working, they hadn't been going to school, they still want a vacation. They want to get out, and we hope that this money is going to encourage people to do so And we think it's going to, just from feedback so far, we think it's going to rebound very quickly, but we got to wait and see what the Fed's going to allow everybody to do.
Yeah, I got you. Well, so let's talk a little bit about how your routine has changed over the last several weeks. I've got to think that going from, owning and operating 4 or 5 location restaurant to, I know you're down to the original location, but that's a kind of a fraction of what you're used to doing. So how are you passing the time? What are you doing as a business owner to number one, I guess check on your employees and that kind of thing, but what are you doing to pass the time as your routine has certainly changed over the last few weeks?
Well, we had some things that we wanted to do from a maintenance standpoint. We run 6 days a week. We're closed that one day on Sunday. And a lot of times that day is the only day that we can get maintenance things done, or we do them after hours at night. So what has happened here is it's allowed us to get everything done that we had on a docket to get done and not have to do it in an after hours situation and then spend overtime monies. Right. I know there's another silver lining there where it was actually cheaper for us to get all this maintenance done that we had to get done. Okay. Or we some of it wouldn't have to, so a lot of it was things that we wanted to do. We were able to do some facelift work here and there, and we're able to do it in a regular time frame. Right. And then have some actual days off. You don't get a lot of time off from running 4 restaurants.
Yeah, I imagine.
Even though you get 1 day off, right, that day's working a lot of times. We've got a little bit of rest. I don't want to say that we got a lot, but because we did do a lot more things that we were looking to do and went ahead and got them all done, we haven't slowed down. From an ownership standpoint, we've been very, very busy.
Well, and I've heard that more than one occasion is that folks are using this downtime to do that type of thing, and so folks are trying to make the best of what's not a very good situation at all as far as business goes, but they are using this downtime to make repairs and to take a step back and look and do things that need to be done that may have been, like you said, put on the back burner and that kind of thing. So what are you hearing from your restaurant friends around town? I know that the restaurant industry in this part of the country you're a close knit group of folks. So how are your other friends in the restaurant industry faring?
Well, some again, it all depends on business practices and how well you manage your money through the year. I don't want to brag, but we do a very good job of that. And like these things that we wanted to do that we're getting done now are things money that we had set aside already. Mm-hmm. So we're not burning up capital again. Plus we're getting them done. We're doing them in-house, so we're not having to pay to get those things done more than you normally would. Right. So we're saving a little money. But some, just through rumors, I hear not faring very well, and understandably so. Right. But others are doing the same thing we're doing. They prepared. You always set a little money aside. You never know. It's kind of like a hurricane hitting, especially here. You never know when that's going to come. So you have to prepare for those situations. And those businesses that they're going to fare very well and come right back with no problem. Yeah. There are going to be some that probably don't make it.
Yeah, and I think that's the reality. I mean, there will be fewer restaurants on the back end of this than there were going in, right?
Yes, I believe so. Those that have been here for a while, that understand the weather and how things work here, and anything can happen down here. When you live in a tourist community, a lot of things affect the way business is ran. So you prepare for those ahead of time, and if you do, then you can get through them. And
good point. Well, you've already mentioned a couple of things that are kind of positives that have come out of this whole situation. But I mean, as you look back, and it may take some time because you're in when you're in the heat of battle and going through it sometimes takes a little while to gain some perspective. But a year or two down the road, as you look back on this whole situation and this crisis that we've been through, what do you think are a couple of key takeaways or positives that you'll be able to look back and say, okay, look, it was a tough time, but I mean, this has happened. It happened for a reason. These were good reasons. These were good things that came about. What do you think that might be?
Well, again, kind of like being able to get things done that we normally wouldn't be able to get done, or would take all year to get these things done. I don't want to say it's a blessing, but on one side it is. Mm-hmm. So you can take away from there, not get down with what has all gone on, but that picks you up, and we've gotten excited about being able to get some things done that we normally wouldn't get done. The other thing is our employees, you're only as good as your employees. And we're a very tight-knit group at Fish River Grill. We love all of our employees. We don't overhire, if that makes sense, for the season. We stay busy all year round, so we keep our employees, our long-term employees. That's the hardest part is seeing any of those guys suffer through a situation like this. It is really hard. So prepare for those guys in the future in case something like this ever happens again. Rather it be a pandemic, rather it be a hurricane or whatever, we're prepared to take care of those people because that they matter more than anybody. Because like we said, when you look at really the devastating part of it is we had 300 plus families that were affected. That's a lot of revenue overall. So if we can really prepare for that ahead of time, I think it's a good idea for everyone in the business. But if you prepare for that, then people don't have to suffer quite as long. So
yeah, agreed. Well, Kevin Pennington, thank you so much. For folks, now on the other side of this, when folks want to go to Fish River, give me your 4 locations. Where can they find you?
We're Gulf Shores,
okay,
Foley, Highway 32 at Fish River, and then Scenic Highway 98 at the Bay.
Okay, well, I have eaten at a couple of those locations. I can tell you what, y'all do a great job, and I can't wait for it to get back open and get ready to start serving all these folks that I know are going to be wanting to spend some pent-up energy and dollars out in the out in the public after they've been shut up at home for several weeks. So, Kevin, thank you so much for your insights, thinking about you guys, and know that you'll come out on the other side of this stronger than ever. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes and Spotify. It definitely helps us in the ratings, and it also makes it easier for other folks to find the podcast. As always, a big thanks to producer Carrie Wolf and editor Johnny Gwynn. Playing Above the Line is sponsored by Aviso Group. If you want to know more about who we are and what we do, you can visit our website at avisogroup.com. That's AVIZO group.com. You can also check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thanks for listening.